ekimala kimala omuntu bamukutuleko ki tuteyo abantu 10 mulye commissioner Kagwa gundi ne gundi minister gundi bamukutuddeko omutwe ebyaddala olwo buli bwemusubira kwatukoze eki kuba abantu bakyakya ssabo abantu bakyakya eddiini batuula mu maaso basasula bawaayo ebirabo bebazimba amadirisa bebakola ki ekimala kimala olutalo luno lwaffeffe bannayuganda okulwanyisa ki obuli bw'enguzi ekirowoozo kyange ekyokugoba ebibiina by'obufuzi kireesi dictatorship buli muntu ng'ojja on merit kibiina kimu one man's party sigamba nti tulekewo dictator buli omu yenna agenda kuba avuganya obubiina bwina tubugobe owulyanga owa redi awala n'owa yero awala n'owa green abamulabe ebyo ebintu byawudde mu bantu tujja kubireeta era ebibiina bino obwo tubugobe basebo ne bannyabo ngambye kirasizimu nedda buli lwe weesiga omuyala bw'aba asiba empomba ateekamu bigumba ekyo temulina emugenda kitunyonnyola tubagamba omuntu omwavu ennyo ennyo atasaanidde agira alinda okukulembera abalala ayina omulimu munene nnyo okwengulamu amagezi agayagala okuleeta asooka agawe ejje munya bwewaawo ekyatugamba abiyita excitement n'ebira nedda baseba ne bannyabo buli munnayuganda ali mpalamenti alina mikwano gye baganda bino byetweta sibyama I'm not excited no tubagamba bwe tunabinnyonnyola nga tubadde tubinnyonnyola bannayuganda batandise okubiraba tukolera bannayuganda nja leeta ebiteeso bino nfune kye tuyita certificate of financial implication nja kulaga ditero ojija minister of finance bwe tusala wano tusala ne tukendeeza essente naye bakiraba omuntu yenna ategeera alaba nti bwe tusala okwejalabya tuba tukendeeza era ne tusevinga ssente ze tugenda okupushinga eno kati bwajja ku floor of parliament buli omu ajja kuwesigazza omusalaba ogw'okubuuza omubakawo nti omusajja yagamba tubasala emisala zino ssente nnyingi nnyo ez'okwejalabya obuvunaanyizibwa obwo si bwange nzekka nammwe bannayuganda era nina ne plan B buli lwe nnaabanga nnemeddwa okuyisa ebiteeso bino nja kugibabuulira mu maaso eyo webali ne webali eddala yes
erinnya Steve Nkola ne Magala TV Honorable ku nsonga ya Kampala tuzze tulaba nga ebikogerwako bingi ku mikutu n'obutambi obutambula nga bwonoona erinnya lyo munnayuganda asuubire nti wakyuse nga tugamba nina omuntu akyuka naaba tulina ebbalaga za kulina eddala
webale nnyo okunjogerako oba omupromotinga abantu abasinga obungi muloota mukunukkiriza eno gye tuli gye mwagala okuba mulekeraawo gamba nti buli muntu alina kyalina muyabya kirube nammwe muli babbi temunnabba biwera tebannabakwata omubbi abeera mukomera wano ni mukomera mulekeraawo olugezigezi n'akajanja abantu bali bize mugende mulime ekira tubagamba buli munnayuganda wooli toyina kyokola mulekeraawo gamba Uganda is bleeding you are bleeding alone and possibly you have infections go for medical attention ekirala si buli munnayuganda nti mwavu gwe mwavu andaba era mpuliriza mulekeraawo gamba nti abantu bannayuganda bonna baavu nedda abantu gwe tolina kyokula okola ki tuli mu bulimi tuli mu kusiba zizaabu n'amayinja ag'omuwendo enseeno nnungi leete mugimanyi tubagamba okulima enkumbi erimba tractor eitakola ki olulyo tulukyusi ojalimisa enkumbi eryo omere embalabe bwe baomere n'ebbango nga galina kyokungudde tukubiriza abantu baffe okubeera nga balimisa tractor abagaga mu kibuga wanonaye mwetololera bwe muti ne mweroga oyawo mujje mukyalo mugagga abeera mukyalo mulina obusobozi obugula tractor n'okupangisa amataka basebo ne banyawo tubagamba gavumenti mu allocation naddala mu development expenditure tuteeke ssente mu bulimi obulimi tractor zibeerewo nga za ssente entono n'okuzipangisa olaba essaawa eno ku district gavumenti yammwe gye mwenna gye muwala n'abasinga obungi erina tractors ku district ng'osobola ogipangisa ssente eno nde temukimanyi n'abeeraalo tebamanyi gavumenti yammwe bali awo mukusabiriza kukuba luseke kyekiseera okusabiriza kukome. Why Ugandans are suffering? One, the widespread corruption. Many of you are beneficiary to corruption. I can assure you development of any country begins in budgeting. The budget has two segments. One, the recurrent expenditure and development expenditure. The recurrent expenditure as of today is much more big than the development expenditure. Ladies and gentlemen, there are so many reasons why the recurrent expenditure is so much big compared to the development expenditure. Recurrent expenditure are those luxurious benefits and other luxurious nonsense that we believe is always given to civil servants, members of parliament, irrespective of political parties, including opposition. They have been having exorbitant benefits and indeed salaries plus allowances. They don't pay taxes on allowances, yet they are so big. We are saying all Ugandans need to pay taxes irrespective of any position. Equally, we are saying in allocation and appropriation of resources in the budget, the development sector or development expenditure should be at least 70%. We need to raise the tax GDP ratio from 13% to at least 18 and 20. And there are avenues how we are going to do it, especially when you follow our manifesto that is online. Ladies and gentlemen, we are saying the GDP of Uganda today is only 53 billion. If we compare ourselves to Canada, that is 2.2 trillion US dollars, can you imagine Canada has only 300 something MPs and Uganda has 500 plus MPs. Completely nonsense and nonsensical. We are saying we are going to reduce number of MPs to 80 MPs at least, and ministers to 50%, actually 50 ministers. We are also saying Ugandans have lost trust in you, the leaders, simply because they feel and think you are selfish. How can one person hold salaries and the allowances and other benefits of more than one office? You are a minister, you are an MP, you are so and so. No. This time round, we need to give chance to our youth and our population also involved in development and leadership of their country. Nobody shall hold more than one office in this era coming. Also, we are saying we have unnecessary debts. We are going to stop taking debts. We see how to recover much of these expenditures. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a say, no to all tax exemptions to big companies that are able to pay taxes. And yet, we are shifting the tax base to the low-income earners. Ladies and gentlemen, in short, we are also saying the informal sector must be transformed. Everybody has to register his business and with a TIN number and payments by IFRIS. We know many leaders have been lying you about IFRIS. This is the only soft way of collection of data and tracking everybody's business. It is our responsibility to contribute to payment of tax to develop this country as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, we are saying we are introducing a law against corruption. Anybody found embezzling public funds and found guilty, we are introducing a law of death sentence by hanging. We are going to hang your fathers, your relatives, because nobody comes from Sudan or Congo to steal Uganda's and people's money in this government. It is your fathers, it is your relatives. That's why I'm saying it is our collective responsibility as leaders, as citizens, all of us to fight and be part and parcel in the fight against corruption. The rest of other avenues of long-term sentences and judicial procedures, they have failed simply because they are being compromised. They say money beats Gonzaga this time. No, money is going to beat and even be succumbed to death by hanging. No any other option. If you're a civil Ugandan, honestly speaking, we should embrace this stringent idea against corruption because the money we have is enough. But it simply lets and lies in the hands of a few people in Uganda. I welcome any other questions. Anybody who is interested in our extensive and full manifesto is loaded or uploaded online on all our social media handles. You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes.
Yes, my name is MCG. I work with BTM. Many think that your project and this kind of approach is hoodwinking Ugandans. What is your say about that?
Like I always say, Ugandans, this is the time to be serious. First of all, everybody has a mandate as a citizen to stand up and take up your country, irrespective of any political ideology. I am not a project of anyone. Instead, others are my projects. That's all.
Yes, Honorable. How will you tackle issues like unemployment, poor infrastructure, congestion in the city center? Then secondly, how do you plan to support small-scale businesses and informal traders in your constituency? Should you be voted?
Thank you very much. The issue of unemployment is a global problem. First of all, we have to introduce what we call a minimum wage and salary scale for every part and person of this country. There are so many exploitations by local or international companies that don't value Ugandans. From now on, we are saying we are going to set a minimum wage at least of 200,000 Ugandan shillings for anybody that is below or pre-qualified. Also, we are saying we have to increase salaries of those that matter in servicing the development of our country. Teachers, the minimum budget for teacher every year, tax should be 8 million. While for a doctor, it should be 18 million. After all, doctors are not so many. ladies and gentlemen, infrastructure, we are saying Uganda must at least accord a special status for Kampala. Kampala needs a special status and a special budget so that we can tackle the issues of infrastructure, roads, traffic jam, and much more. Also, congestion is part of that infrastructure and even budget increase and special status according to Kampala. We are saying traders within here, we are going to zone this country and the city, whereby all landlords should never increase rent twice in a month or a year. Also, garbage and water bills all have to be on the rent that our traders all pay. Equally, we are saying each and every trader in his or her shop, they should be accorded with special meters for supply and consumption of power bills or electricity and what's more. Also, we are saying in the infrastructure and development of our city, we are saying landlords should declare real rent fees and should be paid with the receipts with difference so that government can collect enough revenues if you need good services. Ladies and gentlemen, small-scale business, we are saying it is necessary government to put fund aside, at least within the banks, so that the population, on merit, they can borrow and improve on their business avenues and ideas. Yes? I beg your pardon? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing digital campaign, which I believe if I be elected, I want it adopted by Parliament and becomes a law. There are so many advantages of doing digital campaigns. First of all, the unnecessary disruption of business and loitering of our youth following useless politicians. To me, I believe it's a wastage of time. After all, you've made our population gullible and at least a shame to all our youth that seem to be following politicians. Enough is enough. There is a lot of benefits using digital campaigns. Others include, for example, you can reach many people in a short time, and even anybody who missed your campaigns or any project you are trying to prosper around can be revisited and reviewed even when you're at your bed rest. Other avenues, cost effectiveness. A lot of money is being wasted by politicians and all those that are competing. There is extortion down there. Guys, there is extortion by the public to whoever is standing as a leader or proposing to be a leader. As government, we shall save a lot. Many of these in detail, they are in my manifesto that we have uploaded online. Anyone can also go to our website and check and read it in details.
Honorable, we understand you're running a digital campaign as you have just mentioned earlier, but we have your boards and posters running in the city. Isn't that contrary to what you have mentioned as digital campaign?
I personally, I go against electoral material being physical, printing of posters, billboards. I see His Excellency's posters and billboards everywhere. Even if we were to do one, everywhere the big man has taken the city. This is my city. I am saying I have no space, but nevertheless, we are saying we should migrate to digital campaign. First of all, again, it is only my voters who insisted to print those posters, not only in Kampala, but even across the country. I applaud you, but I'm saying, as you put them there, when campaign stops, when this campaign stops, kindly, we need a clean city and a clean country. Let's put them down and go into the dustbin and move on with a clean country and a clean city.
You also talked about political parties.
Yes. I beg your pardon?
You talked about political parties.
Yes.
You're not interested in political parties. They should be banned.
Yes. I, as a person, I'm standing as an independent. I am for everyone. I don't belong to any political parties. I object completely. And if elected, I have a strong suggestion that I believe is a will also for Ugandans for purposes of cohesion and working together and also developing a one Uganda. We should abolish, I repeat, we should abolish political parties. They are completely useless and encourage or promote hate speech and unfair competition. This is the time where everybody should be given a chance to compete on merit. And I'm suggesting, let us have no political parties. Let us have a platform where everybody can compete on merit and fairly. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Honorable. You're talking, they are talking your roles of the member of Parliament, but you're only riding on one role. Whom are you leaving under roles to? And two, which position do you want? You have a manifesto for a person who is supposed to run for presidency, yet you want to be an MP for Kampala Central. Does it add up?
Of course. That's why even in school or classes, there were so many, like 30 people. One is the first and the last is also attending. Ladies and gentlemen, we are saying I, as a member of parliament, so many people didn't know the role of a member of parliament, especially about legislation and oversight. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said that the problems of Ugandans is all embedded within members of parliament. Do you know why? The reason is simple. Even the executive and the judiciary is subscribing to the parliament. Nothing is done outside the law. All these reforms are intended to at least modify the performance and service delivery for all our children and our country. We are saying, actually, being a member of parliament, you must be a think tank. You're supposed to develop what is going to at least be depended on in running this country in the different sectors. The member of parliament you choose and his qualification matter a lot, simply because he's at least the pivot and the fulcrum, at the same time, the engine of the country in developing and enacting laws or other policies that at least entangle and work together hand in hand with all the citizens and within our country. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Alcalas, take over.